Okay, there we go. Is that better? Give me a second here. Sorry, my audio cut off through. Oh, is it still off? Okay. So that was weird. That's the same audio glitch that hit me before, and it is an OBS one from the looks of it, because my mic detection was not being well, it just wasn't being detected. So hooray! I have to pay attention for that sound, for the sound of dead air, basically. And then I have to restart my. Well, I don't have to restart the stream. I think I just have to restart my mic, which is super weird. In any case, uh, so now we're getting to the point where I'm running into problems. See, up till now, we could just simply evaluate which of these hints is true. So which one has all of its criteria come out as true, and then the first one that does so, we could evaluate to be, the thing we want to see. But the problem is that after the wizard cutscene happens, we have this criteria here, and that criteria will be true for the rest of the game. It will say throne room entered, wizard appeared, and wizard vanished are all true, which means that if we just look for the first one that's true, we'll always stop there. We will always stop at magic blocks your way, you must open the path forward, or it's curtains for your adventure. That is obviously not a good enough system. So we have to come up with a way of determining what criteria is true, but also what criteria is irrelevant. Because, again, this third hint will always evaluate to be valid and true, but we don't want to show it, obviously, after you've progressed. So something we can do is do a back to front search. So instead of checking from basically the first hint down, we would check from the last hint up. And that would allow us to detect whatever the last hint that evaluated to true. No, see, that runs into the same problem. We can't do it that way. I was hashing these ideas out before the stream. And yeah, that way, so we can't do it frontwards and we can't do it backwards, which means that we need to detect basically some way of knowing. Oops, sorry. So we have to detect some way of knowing where we are in the sequence of things. And this gets further complicated because later on I have some non-sequential things that happen. So you can do things in any specific order. Now, what I think is best in that case is just there's just one hint that evaluates to true, and it'll just guide you towards one, and then it'll guide you to the next one once that's complete, and so on and so on. But that does mean that I need to make sure that they're sequentially possible. So, yeah, not the best right now. I'm not entirely sure what the best thing to do would be. Because if I did isolate these hints to a per level thing, then I could have basically an ultimate fallback that will be like a global hint. So currently, the way it would work is if all of the hints evaluated to false, it would just return the default hint right here, which is there doesn't seem to be anything interesting here. And I mean, that's fine, but again, it doesn't really tell you anything about what you need to do. It just says there's nothing interesting here. And that might be enough. I honestly, I have not really messed with hint systems in adventure games before. So there's a lot of problems here, is my main point. So I'm not entirely sure if we can do the hint system tonight, just because I personally cannot think of how to handle it. Now it's not a total loss if we can't end up doing the hint system. Obviously, it would be preferable if we could, but I'm not particularly heartbroken if we can't. So in that case, we do need to do something else on the stream today. I just don't know what it is. There are a couple of actually there are a couple of things that I could probably do, and we might just do those. So we might have a short stream today. Honestly, a lot of the stuff that we're going to be doing this week is well, actually, just on tonight's stream. I'm not doing the stream on Thursday or Saturday, but we're going to be doing a lot of just small, minor tweaks to get things ready for Pixel Pop this weekend. And specifically, that's going to be polishing up the puzzles in the castle level and the sewer level, just because they're changing a little bit. So to actually show you what one of the changes that I made is, one of the changes that I made is, yes. So I have moved the scepter from the chest to the hallway here. And that is because I talked this through with a friend of mine, and he brought up the point that it makes more sense for the first thing that you interact with to be something that you can take with you and do all of the interaction type things with. So make sure that cloth still works. So the scepter is now front and center. So the first thing that you're most likely to interact with is now something that you can actually pick up and take with you and hold in your hand, so you can actually equip it. And yeah, it's nothing particularly crazy, but it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. It's just one of those things that I just didn't think about when I was, you kind of get in your own way. So yeah, that's one of the things that I did last night, and I would like to sort of finish that stuff up today. So there's going to be a lot of spreadsheet manipulation today. So currently the scepter is in position here, so I can take this if I want. And then I can of course hold it and do all this fun stuff. But we do have other problems. Oh, okay, I thought for a second that I could walk through that. We'll let that go. Excuse me. So, one of the things that we need to do, I guess, is let that go and take a drink. All right. Sorry, I swallowed wrong. One of the things we need to do is change item placement, because as of right now, if we come in here and open up the chest, it still has a scepter in it. So I have to change that, which means I actually need to change a couple of other things, just given the system. And I'm probably going to redesign some of the puzzles, but some of those puzzles I can't redesign on the stream because they're Sierra mode puzzles. Actually, they're all Sierra mode puzzles, honestly. Jeez. I am just... Sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained tonight. Mostly because I'm trying to think about what I can do on the stream. I was really hoping I could think up a way to do the hint system. And just, I can't. Not in such a short amount of time. Alright. But I also can't really show you Sierra mode puzzles, otherwise it'll ruin Sierra mode. So, I think what we're going to do today is we're going to do the cut and dry, very basic version of our hint system. So it's going to be isolated, not by zone, but by level. So let's go ahead and say level. Alright. Castle. Actually, is it castle or castle quarters? Good, it's castle. Okay. So we're just going to make this all castle. And, no, I guess I probably shouldn't do that when I can just do this. And let's try to come up with some other things. Oh yes, there is something. ah, excuse me. So one of the things that is going to happen with hints is there will not be hints in Sierra mode. It will. I don't know what's going on with me. My throat is terrible right now. So when you get hints in normal mode, it'll be sort of these cryptic. Um, oh no, I'm sorry. This is one of those things where I was hashing it out before the stream, so I haven't fully had time to digest it. Uh, it's not going to be that there are no hints in Sierra mode. It's that they are going to be incredibly esoteric. So they will be strange and non-descriptive to the point of almost uselessness. They will still tell you or hint at what you need to do, but I will probably spend. Excuse me. I will probably spend a lot of time trying to make them very strange. So, in any case, with the level approach decided upon, let's go ahead and finish up our hints. So let's see here. We have lever pulled. It's going to need to be. Oh right, and this is actually another interesting point. I probably, you know what I can do actually. Oh, this will actually solve our problem too, I think. So part of the difficulty that I was having with this hint system is because the criteria is based off of data IDs, and I was using data IDs that are malleable. These are things that get adjusted by your direct actions. But what I can do instead is have a set of data IDs that instead of reacting to what you've done. So for example, when I say reacting to what you've done, lever pulled is a data ID specifically referring to the lever in the bedroom. And when it's pulled, or when it's active, meaning it's down, lever pulled is set to true. But when it's false, the lever has been pushed back up, and therefore it's not active. And that would mean that the bed is not raised. Now, the reason that it's not good to actually listen to that sort of data for criteria is because it can be manipulated by the player, which means that if I have the play, or if I have a hint for the player when the lever is not pulled versus pulled, the player will essentially be able to toggle between those two based on just manipulating this lever. But we don't actually want that. So we might want a hint saying, you need to, and I'm obviously not, it's going to be way more subtle than this, but we would need a hint saying, go here and open up the curtains. If you haven't pulled the lever yet, and then if you have pulled the lever, but then you've put it back up, it should still show the hint for the next thing. So it shouldn't say, go here and pull the lever. It should say something like, go to the sewers. Again, obviously not that literal, but more of a guideline approach. So if I use a different approach in the sense that I have some data IDs that are specifically only used to track player progression, then I can get some better use out of this. And actually, it's not too strange to use that sort of thing, because that's what not throwing torches. That's worthless now. I can get rid of that. Throne room entered, wizard appeared, and wizard vanished are this exact type of data ID, which is why they are actually pretty good for this. Except I would probably get even more specific than that, because wizard appeared and wizard vanished are kind of temporary things that are meant to be used for the room description system. And instead, what I think I can do is have a high level data ID that says stuff like throne room entered, which means that the wizard cutscene has activated, and that's pretty much it. But that indicates that you have progressed to that point. And then I can have one for bed raised, which again will not be set to false once it's been set to true. That's the main important thing about these data IDs, is they need to be consistent. Once they're set, they have to be set in stone. They cannot be reverted. So that means we would have things like throne room entered would be one. Bed raised would be the next one. After that, let's see here. Sewer entered might be one. I'm trying to think of what it would be for the first two levels. So if throne room entered is false, then that means that you have not entered the throne room and activated the wizard cutscene, which means that you're in the entrance area, which means that I can just say the King of Serafton awaits you. After the throne room entered has been set to true, we can check, has the bed been raised? No? Okay. The magic blocks your way backwards. You must find a way forwards, or it's curtains for your adventure. Okay. Has the bed been raised? Yes. Okay. So now I'm going to show this hint, and then if the player lowers the bed, it won't matter because we've already set this other data ID to be true. So, okay, that all works pretty well. So that just means that I have to add some more progression, I guess. I am going to add. This is going to be interesting. Let's see, hash labyrinth. Let's go to. I had a system in place for this. I think I'm using 100 increments. So yeah, castle is 100. Oh no, castle is just regular tens. And I guess I don't have 100s. That seems kind of short-sighted. Either way, sewer is in the 200 range. Plains are in the 300. Cabin is 4. Woods is 5. Grove 6. Canyon 7. Etc. 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 Let's go ahead and let's see here. Let's duplicate labyrinth. That'll be fine. Duplicate. Rename. So this is going to be progression. All right. Let's delete this. And this is going to be just straight up 10,000. That's probably fine. These are data IDs meant specifically to track progression. So yeah, let's just go ahead and try to think up what some of these are going to be, at least for the first two levels. So we'll have wizard. No. Throne. I don't want to have it be the exact same as the actual data IDs in the castle. That's what's going to make this kind of tricky. So, although, well, see, that's, yeah, we're going to run into some kind of gray areas. Because there are times where I'm going to want to use these specific data IDs that can be malleable. Specifically for things like the wizard cutscene. You need to have a hint specific to when the cutscene is active versus to when it hasn't happened versus to when it has occurred and it's done. So we have to allow that, and that's what these these 3 ones do already. But they're not good enough. I think I need to have one and exactly one criteria per thing, and it's just going to be a data ID check, basically. So, okay. So let's think about it from that perspective. So we're going to say, let's see. So the very first state that it's going to be is, God, it's got to, and the other thing is you want to make sure that everything that we set up, every data ID is going to evaluate to false by default and true once something has happened. So we're going to say, okay. So wizard appeared. No, can't use that name. Some very annoying. Let's see. I really don't want to use throne room entered and wizard appeared and wizard vanished. I don't think it will matter really, but my main concern there is that I know my enums will be weird if they have the same name. The hash is ultimately the only thing that really matters, but if I have two things with different hashes but the same name, you'll still see both results, and it won't really tell you which one is which, so that's not great. Okay. So, let's see here. And that's to it. I'm just going to come up with a name. So we're going to say throne room entered. Okay. Then after the throne room, we need to have the wizard escaped. Escaped. Not escaper. Escaped. And that's going to be 10,010. I'm going to go in increments of... we'll go in increments of 5. So we're going to say 10,005. All right. So after the wizard escapes, we need to do is the bed raised. So we're going to say... I guess I should probably try to be more specific. So I'm going to say castle bed raised. That's going to be 10,010. After that, we're going to have sewers entered. Sewers entered. We'll say castle sewers entered, just to be, again, thorough. 10,015. Let's see. After that, this is where we get... So this is where we run into some branching path problems. Once you get into the sewers, there are kind of simultaneous things that you can do. Let me jump over to the sewers level real quick. Assuming I can find my own, or navigate my own project. We want to go to intro, sewers, not castle, sewers. I'll keep castle open, I guess. So once you get into the sewers, the hint can be one of kind of 3 different things. So I would actually need to more thoroughly control. Well, again, I guess it's can't talk. Oops. So I don't want. Dang it! This is one of those situations where I guess I need to have spoilers. You know what I really need is I need a spoiler thing on my little avatar guy to let people know that spoilers are going on. So there are 3 different ways around the troll. And what I could do is I could try to hint at all 3, or this could be a non-issue in the sense that I could simply guide the player down the most mundane path. So if you're using the hint system, you will potentially not see any of, or you're not going to be hinted at any of the interesting interactions, or I guess what I would say the more interesting interactions. Or I guess again I could be vague intentionally. So if the castle sewers have been entered, we're going to get something. I guess. All right, we'll just say troll passed or bypassed. Yeah, that seems like a good way of saying things. So after that, we're going to need to say sewer door unlocked. We're going to say, oops, okay, and finally, valves positioned at 10,030. Okay. So, essentially what's going to happen is each one of these data IDs is going to have two hints. One for when it's false and one for when it's true. So if the throne room entered is false, we're going to get something specific. If the throne room entered is true, we will get something else. If the wizard is escaped, right? Actually, I guess it's going to be kind of like a weird pairing. So if the throne room is if the throne room is I can't talk. If you have not entered the throne room, you're going to get something. If you have entered the throne room and then wizard escaped is false, you're going to get something else. If wizard escaped is true and castle bed race is false, you're going to get something else, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. So I think this is all we need for the hints for the first 2 levels. So I think we can build a system off of this. So this is going to the downside to this is it's going to require a little bit more effort on my part to actually make sure that the data IDs are correctly set whenever they need to be. But that's not the end of the world, really. So let's go ahead. It's not an add-on thing. We're going to download as comma-separated values. I'm going to come over here, and we are going to. I'm going to need a hint thing. Where are you? Hint, 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 hint. It's not there. Okay, well, let's look for hints. Event button, hint number. Hint number options? Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Let's see here. So instead of level hint info, I guess I'm just going to make a system from scratch for this, I think. I know that seems like a bit much, but I think it'll be better in the long run. Because again, you got to remember right now the hint stuff is being used for environment descriptions. It's not very well named. In any case, let's go ahead and create a folder. We're going to call it hints. All right, then we're going to create a C# script. I'm going to call it hint collection, I guess, or hint collection, because I can't spell apparently. So hint collection. Yes, that's fine. And before we can really do anything with that, I gotta let it compile. And then we're going to add a hint data class, or I guess a struct, and then we're going to actually get down to parsing that stuff. So I'm pretty confident that we can get this working. So I think the long-term game plan for this is going to be we won't have individual hints per level. Instead, we will have one scriptable object that has all of our hints in it, and it will simply check based on what the actual data IDs are. So let's go ahead. We're going to say C# script. This is going to be new hint data. That is probably not a name I'm already using, I'm assuming. We'll find out. And Shazam. Abracadabra. It will compile one day. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and open that up. Hit reload on all this stuff. All right, so hint data, not going to be a mono behavior. It is going to be a struct. It's going to be serializable. System.serializable. All right, so we need this to have, I guess, just a data ID and then an expected value. So that's not actually that bad. Okay, I'm going to add one more struct that's going to be hint criteria, and that's just to have a folder editor. Ah, dang it! It compiled while I was typing. It's always the worst thing. Oh, but it still did it correctly. Okay. Let's see here. We're going to need hint criteria. Actually, do I already have something called hint criteria? I don't. I have hint collection, but that's not. All right. Okay. So I'm going to call it hint criteria. Hint criteria. So again, it's going to be structured similarly to our hint or our level description stuff. We're going to have criteria and hint data, but the hint criteria is going to be way more simple. It's just going to be value or ID, expected bool value, and that's it. So it's going to be a very, I don't want to say, I guess, rudimentary system, but that's kind of what it is. It's going to be pretty rudimentary. All right, so I'm going to make this, again, it's not a mono behavior, and it's not a class, it's just a struct. We're going to have system.serializable. And this is going to be in the namespace text quest. Why can I never hit the capital on the first letter? Interesting. Ah, see, I knew it. Criteria. But I looked for it. Wait. Really? Did I just put it? I didn't put it in the class. I just put it in level hint info. Ah, I did. Great. Great. That's great. Well, that's fine. We're just going to rename you then to, we'll say, not hint criteria, but how about, actually, we'll keep you as hint criteria for now, because I'm going to, as a test case, just say hint criterias like that. And then now I'm going to rename you so there's no weirdness. Because sometimes when you rename things that have conflicts, it doesn't actually rename everything that's referencing it. So this is going to be, instead of hint criteria, description criteria. Okay, that should work. So we're going to close that out, come back here, get rid of the S. Ta-da! Simple as that. All right, then we're going to say public level, I'm sorry, not level ID, data ID, ID, and then public bool value. Let's go ahead and get some tooltips going. We're going to say, oh, I guess that's kind of going to be redundant, so maybe not. I'm going to make a drawer for all of this, so I don't actually need tooltips, because they won't have labels. All right. Let's see here. So hint data is going to have using system. Wow, I can't even spell using. Using system.collections.generic. We're going to say public list hint criteria. Oh, right. Give me a second here. We're going to make you text quest, not quest. There we go. And public string hint, I guess. So that's all we really need. Let's go ahead and get this in there. We just need a list of criteria and then a hint if that evaluates to be true. So, all right. I think that's all we need. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. And that's probably good. Uh-oh. Hold on. Did my mic just go down? Nope. Great. Now I'm having hallucinations. Well, not hallucinations, but paranoid delusions that my microphone's failing me when it's not. Except it totally did. It tried to mess me up today, but I caught it. In any case, let's go ahead and go to hint collection now. It's going to be under the text quest namespace again. All right, this one is going to be a scriptable object. It is also going to be using system.collections.generic. All right, let's see here. We're going to drag the hint stuff over here. And I suppose I should have public bool is valid get return session dot get bool id dot name false, I suppose, is equal to value. Yes. Should I? Yeah. Yeah, I should. I should just assume that they're going to be false unless they are true. So I have to pass a default value. I guess I don't have to, but it'll assume false, and I wanted to be explicit. So, okay. So that should be fine. criteria valid question mark. Or I guess that's not a description. That is a non-description by its definition. Is this criteria data ID in session set to the expected value? There we go. All right, going back up to hint data. We are going to have another public bool is valid, not value, is valid. Say get. Let's see here. We're going to say return true, and then before that, we're going to say for int I is equal to 0, I is less than criteria dot count I plus plus. If criteria of I dot is valid, return false, and say if it's not valid, then we will return false. All right. Are all of this hint's criteria valid? Question mark. All right. I think that's pretty much all we need from that. Now we can get to the actual drawing parts. So up here we're going to say public list hint data hints equal to new list hint data. We're going to say public text asset. What do I want to call it? Sorry, I just had a brain fart. We'll just call it hint JSON. That's just going to be the JSON text tooltip. The JSON file used to generate hints. All right, and let's do public void, not void, public bool. What am I doing? Not bool. It's going to be public hint data. We don't really care about that. It's just going to be a string, isn't it? String get hint. Hello, the Omega. Welcome back. How are you tonight? Let's see. We're going to return hints of 0.hint by default. So if none of the hints evaluate to true, then we're going to return the first hint's output. So currently we're working on the hint system, Omega, just so you are aware. Let's see here. So now we're going to have to loop through everything. So we're just going to do a for int I is equal to 0, I is less than hints dot count I plus plus. All right. So now we basically need to figure out what the last hint that evaluates to true is. Because these are going to be done in a strict chronological order. So that means that in future segments or I guess technically even modern segments, where you have multiple ways to complete an objective, it's not actually going to tell you each of those ways. It's only going to tell you one specific way. And again, it's not going to tell you, it's just going to hint. That means that you could in theory complete things out of order, in which case once you've done whatever you were originally doing, you've caught up to the hints, it'll all just jump forward by a bunch of different things. So learned that ASCII UI isn't as simple as I thought, partially because I have to use two pseudo consoles terminals, because I use one with 16 by 16 font, another 8 by 16 segment, and each pseudo console can only have one font. Really? They only support one font? Huh. Okay. That's weird. Well, I guess if you're doing basic ASCII, then yeah, it kind of makes sense. Oh, anyway. So we want to basically progress until we hit false and then go back up one level. I think is what we want. Because again, we can't really go from front to back. Otherwise, you could complete something ahead of time that isn't particularly relevant to what would be needed to immediately progress, and then it would evaluate that as the hint that it should give you, and that'll make it kind of weird. So we don't want to do that. So instead, we're going to say, how do we want to do this? Int index is equal to 0. Oh, you know what? I can just do that, can't I? I can just say index. And then we're going to say if hints of I dot is valid, we're going to set index to be equal to I, and else we are going to do something else, and that something else is going to be breaking out at the very least. Do I need to do something besides breaking out? I do not think we do. Yeah, I think it's actually fine. Okay. Well, that's certainly a lot easier. I can just say that. Break. Sweet. Uses cells for each character, so different fonts have different cell sizes. Well, so is it a font thing, or is it a font size thing? So if you had two different fonts that were both monospaced, could you potentially use them if they were both the same size and they were monospaced? Or is it just incredibly unlikely that you would find two fonts that would actually be swappable like that? All right, so that's kind of all we really need from this class. It's not a really super advanced class. It's basically just a straight progression check, and it will not try to catch up to you if you are doing things out of sequence. It will try to more or less guide you through the path that I think is easiest. And again, the point of the hint system isn't to tell you what to do. It is to, if you are stuck, here's a hint. Here's a hint on how to progress. Now, of course, I could do stuff like multiple hint requests. So if you request a hint 3 times, maybe I can be more specific. But that would kind of, yeah, we'll see about that. I'm not totally convinced on that. So I think this will be fine for now. All right, so we'll let that compile. And next, we're going to jump over here to our level hints. So we're going to change this. We don't need this level anymore. We're going to delete that column. Difficulty. No, difficulty is not needed, I don't think. Because there's going to be 2 very different spreadsheets for Sierra mode versus normal mode, so I don't think we need this difficulty one. We can delete that. Criteria value is, I don't need the criteria comparison. Let's delete that. Criteria type is always going to be bool, so I don't need that. I can get rid of you. And that leaves us with the ID and the value. And I don't even think we need the hint ID, but I probably should keep it just in case. Which actually means that my hint data needs an ID. So we'll go ahead and say public int ID. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and, yeah, that all seems right. Well, all right then. I think that's pretty much the structure that I want. So let's go ahead and get this in the segments that we were talking about. So we will say throne room entered is the first one, then wizard escaped is the second one. Actually, no, wait, hold on. We need throne room entered to be true, then wizard escaped to be false. False. Oop, Ah, dang it. Let's get rid of that. And then we're going to need essentially the same thing, but everything is true. Again, we can delete that. So it's basically going to be sequential thing. So it's always going to be, except for the first one, it's going to be pairs of 2. I mean, I guess for consistency, I could pair the first 2, but it doesn't really matter. Let's see. The library uses 1 font for each console, but the fonts are just bitmaps, and you can have a 32 characters in the bitmap because it's left, not just a byte. No. You need that? Well, that's a lot of glyphs. That seems like more glyphs than Latin-based languages need. Just because that's, well, I guess if you include all of the special symbols. But most ASCII is, I forget the actual count, but it's fairly low. It's like low hundreds, I think, for a basic ASCII file. Well, no, it's not even that. If you want just basic ASCII, that's basically the keyboard. So that might be less than 100. Actually, no, that's definitely less than 100. There are less than 100 punctuation and alphabetical keys, or alphanumeric keys on the keyboard. Okay, so here's hint 3. Hint 4 is going to be castle bed raised. So, wizard escaped is true, then false. Okay, we're gonna. No, hold on. Yes, that's I think what we want. Yes, okay. And then we're gonna have castle bed raised is true, and oh, I'm sorry. There we go. Wait, what? Okay, yeah, I got turned around here. Sorry. Paste this up. So it's always going to be kind of like a weird set of 2 for all of our criteria. So we're going to copy this, set this in here, set this to false, and then we're going to paste this in here. And let's see here. We're going to need castle sewers entered is false. Okay, so if the bed has been raised and the castle sewers have not been entered, we're going to say there is something under the bed. That's kind of obvious for now, but I guess that's, yeah. I'm bad at coming up with these things on the fly, so I'm just going to go with basic for now. Let's see. The glyphs can also be images. Oh, that's kind of cool. Well, I guess, yeah, if it's a bitmap, then you could, in theory, stick things like fancy emojis or whatever you can think of. From pseudo consoles to render font or sprites. Yeah. Yeah, TextMesh Pro actually has something similar to that in Unity. It has inline sprites that you can use. It's actually pretty fun. It's not something a lot of people tend to do, but it's actually pretty clever if you can use it in a good way. In any case, so castle sewers entered is going to be true. And let's go back here. Troll bypassed is false. We're going to say, again, find a way around the troll. So these are going to be really, really boring descriptions. I will come up with better ones for future use, but again, on the Devstream, I'm terrible at coming up with these things live. 7. All right. So troll bypassed. Let's paste this down here. And after troll bypass, we have sewer door unlocked. And after sewer door unlocked and valves positioned. And finally, we're going to have, let's do 8 and 8, and I'm going to actually, let's see, we're going to have valves positioned is equal to true, and we're going to add one more here. Let's go for cabin entered, so 10,035. So that's the next thing I guess I would have people do after the sewer stuff. Is false, not fails, false. All right. Okay, let's see here. So find a way around the troll. After that, we need to unlock the door. Well, not even a hint. That's actually literally what you have to do. Let's see here. Once the sewer door is unlocked and the valves haven't been positioned, we're just going to say position the, we'll say something, correct the flow of magic. Or maybe something like this. Stop fight water with magic. I think that's clever. It's not. It's terrible, but I'm going to use it for now. All right, and once everything's been positioned, we'll just say touch the magic. Seal. There we go. Again, those are all very, very basic, terrible hints for now, but they will be improved upon after the stream. Okay, I think that's pretty much all of the hints that we need for the first 2 levels of the game, at least in broad strokes. Mixed with our data IDs, those are pretty good. We're going to actually go ahead and X here. Go to this PC, downloads. We need, what is it, data IDs? Let's see, data IDs, progression, delete that because I have to download this again. So we're going to say file, download as, CSV. All right, now we can bring that in. So let's go ahead and I guess I'm going to just bring it in right there. So show in folder, pop it up over here. Oops. There we go. I hate it when seriously. Okay, Unity. There. I hate it when I accidentally click on the top of my bar and drag it and resize it. I'm like, no, I resized them perfectly. I have a system here. Okay. I'm going to put this in here. So there's our data IDs. We're going to use that for the actual storage of information. And now we need to make our custom editor stuff. So we're going to make C# hint collection editor. Don't really have much in the way of custom UI I need to do for that, but you know, we're also going to have a custom property drawer for our hint criteria, and that's just going to be something super easy to do. So once Unity compiles and actually lets me code again, there we go, create sharp script. So we're going to say hint criteria drawer. Spell that right? I think so. So we're going to make a basic property drawer that's just going to put the ID next to a bool field. So nothing really crazy there. Let's go ahead and put that in there. Currently got a label and button for my UI. Nice. What's the end goal for the UI? Is it just a purely flexible UI system, or are you doing something specific with it? Okay, property draw here. So we're going to go ahead and say using Unity editor property drawer. Okay, make sure that this is in the TextQuest namespace. TextQuest custom, not custom editor, custom property drawer type of hint criteria. All right. So next we're going to say override on GUI. Okay. Don't have to do much there. We're going to say position dot width times equals 0.5f. And then we're going to say editor GUI dot property field at position property dot find property relative blah 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 GUI content dot none and no, semicolon. Let's see here. What is it? I just called it ID, I think. Yep, ID and value. ID. And then we say position dot x plus equals position dot width, and we just do this again pretty much. But instead of ID, we say value. Okay, simple as that. And I could probably actually just do a property drawer for my, well, yeah, all right, I can do that. That'll be interesting. I've never done nested property drawers, so this is going to be interesting. Oh, and I guess I need to get my scriptable object thing created so we can look at its inspector. That would probably be a good move. All right, so this is going to be, again, under text quest, using Unity editor. It is going to be an editor, and we are going to say public static void create. I can't do that. Dang it. I have to do this, don't I? Oh, wait, no. I actually don't think I do. Scriptable object utility. Yep. Create asset, hint collection. Yeah, hint name. Ah! Hint collection. All right. Then we're going to say menu item. Oops. Assets. Create. SOS. Text quest. Hints. Hint collection is probably fine. Okay, so that will let us actually create the scriptable object. Mostly a flexible UI system because I'm not completely sure how the UI in my roguelike will be, because I will need a lot of UI for the systems. Makes sense. I already found a problem using the thinner font for the label and the button. Screws it up a bit. The position is different depending on the font used by both the button and the label. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could get around that by using monospace fonts, but that also would limit your font choice quite a bit. Okay, so now we're going to say create. SOS, text quest, and hint collection. All right, so if we open this up, we can say 1, and if we add 1 criteria, you'll see that it's the property drawer that we just did. And you know what? I bet I could make that better. Let's come over here. So instead of GUI content.none, let's just leave it as is. But before we do anything, we're going to say editor GUI dot label. Oh, no. Utility dot label width is equal to, I don't know. I'm just going to debug that first so I can see what it is. Debug.log. There we go. So now it's going to change to have a label. And it'll probably push the toggle off to the side, is my guess. Oh, never mind. It's not that bad, actually. So I don't need to do anything there. All right, then well, actually, hold on. If I shrink you in. Yeah, okay. I mean, at its lowest, that's the smallest it can get, so we can still see the value. It's not the end of the world. Here, we'll just do this. Label width minus equal 5f, and then we will immediately position it and redo it. So that should bump this over to the left a little bit. It's going to be designed to use 16 by 16 and 8 by 16 fonts, so it should also work for any other font smaller with the same proportions, like 14 and 14 and 7 by 14. Okay, so basically anything that's 1 to 1 or 1 to 2, or yeah, 1 to 2. Thinner font is mostly get twice the amount of text in the space of the square font. Makes sense. Yeah, there we go. So now, perfect. Yeah, that's not bad at all. All right, so I'm going to do that, and we can check and do all that fun stuff. All right, the question there is, how do I want to do this? Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm happy with this drawer. Let's go ahead and add a new property drawer for our hint data. Hint data drawer. And this is going to be fun because I'm going to have to figure out how to serialize. Well, not how to serialize. I know how to do all that stuff. I'm basically going to have to dynamically size it based on its criteria. Um, so we'll let that compile, and I can actually open it up and work with it. Where are you? Let's close some stuff that I don't need. Huh. Did it just not open it? Oh, it did that stupid thing where lag caused me to click on something else. All right. So this is also going to be in the text quest namespace. Say using not system, Unity editor. All right. Just need to make some extra helper functions to make it work. All right. Let's see here. So we're going to say again property drawer, custom property drawer, type of hint data. All right. We're going to say override on GUI, and that's going to be something kind of different. And then we're going to say override get property height, and this is going to be somewhat different as well. All right. So, so we're going to say times property dot is expanded question mark. We'll say 1f and then 1f. And then, yes, of course, I know you're not going to like it unless I wrap it in parentheses. All right. So if the property is expanded, then we're actually going to display a couple of things. So we're going to say, let's see here. We'll keep it as 1f for now. I might still need to think about how I really want to display this stuff. I'm also going to uncomment that for now, or comment it for now. All right, so let's take a look at this. So I need to show an ID, a hint text box, not a string field like it is currently. It needs to be an actual full-blown text box. And then we need to have criteria, and if criteria is toggled open, we need to add however many criteria there are, plus a box for size, which is great. I hate doing that. Although actually, I guess that wouldn't. I don't have to do anything extra for that. I don't think. All right. So let's see. I'm going to make the hint field 3 lines. That's probably enough. An ID field is going to be 1. So 1, 4, 5, and then when opened 6 plus the number of criteria. Okay. Pretty sure I can do that then. So let's go ahead and we are going to say let's see, public int get criteria count, oops, serialized property prop. All right, we're going to return, I guess, prop dot find property relative criteria dot array size. Okay, I think that's all I need to do with that. So we're going to say times you know what? Let me think. Let's do property array. No. We'll say. Dang it. Okay. So we're going to say serialized property criteria is equal to that. Then we're going to return. We'll just say 0 for now. Let's say int count is equal to 0. It's going to be equal to count. Yep, I know. All right, and actually, you know what? We'll say count is equal to 1 by default. So if the criteria, dot is expanded, then we're going to do some other stuff. If it's not, then it's just going to be, 1, which would be the size for the criteria toggle. All right, so if criteria is expanded, then we are going to say count plus plus for the size field, and then we will say count. Oh, actually, no, I guess we can just do that one line, can't we? We're just going to say count plus equals criteria dot array size plus 1. Okay, that plus 1 is again for the size field. So this will return however many extra bits of criteria we need. So we're going to say if property is expanded, we will say times. Let's come back here and look at it. So this is what it's going to look like if it's not expanded. If it is expanded, then we're going to still want that top level element, I suppose. Although I wish I could come up with a. I guess the label is probably just going to be its criteria, because I don't think it's ever going to exceed 2. So we're just going to pull that. Let's see here. So if it's collapsed, it's 1 line long, and if it's expanded, it's going to be 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. Okay. So we're going to say, so if expanded, we're going to say, at the very least, sorry, I keep going back and forth, we're going to need to times 2 times 4, no, I'm sorry, times 5, times 6, okay, it's going to be equal to 6f plus get criteria count property. Okay, I think that will do what we want. All right, so on GUI is going to say if not is expanded, or I guess actually we'll say yeah, we'll have to say if property dot is expanded position crud divided equals, and I'm going to have to do this whole thing. Oh, actually, you know what? I lied. I can be lazy and just say position dot height is equal to editor GUI utility dot single line height. Simple as that. All right. Then we're going to say editor GUI dot drop down, I believe is what I'm going to have to say. And the position is going to be position. Seriously? Hold on. Let me think. All right, we're going to say new GUI content, blah, blah, blah. And we're actually going to say position, oh, no, not position. Property dot is expanded is equal to that. Why are you mad? Oh, right, the focus type. Focus type dot. Oh, I don't actually want, I'm sorry, I completely botched that. I don't want drop down button. I want drop. Is it called, okay, it's one of these things, and it's really dumb that I can't think of what it is right now. Let's see, begin, disabled, begin property, bounds, color, curve, delayed, blah, 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 do password, double field, draw, rec, drop down button, change check. Let's see, pump up. Oh, is it called fold out? That's what it is. Freaking fold out. All right. So we're going to say, we'll say position, property dot is expanded, and then new GUI content. Okay. So that is what I want. And I believe actually I can do comma true. Yep. So I always do true on that for toggle on label click. That way you can click on the label. Makes it a lot easier. If you don't have that set to true, you have to click right on the arrow. And that makes it really difficult. Okay, this shows the two font sizes of the button using 16 by 16. Ah! Oh, that looks pretty good. Yeah, sorry, I didn't think that it would open it up over here. I don't like to open things directly into the window in case people are uncomfortable with me showing their work on the stream. All right. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Do you have or alignment properties set up for your text so you can align it left, right, center, etc.? All right. So after all that, we're going to say if property dot is expanded. Then we're going to draw some stuff. Let's see here. Then we're going to say position dot y plus equals position dot height. All right, and then we're going to say editor GUI dot property field. Let's see here. We're going to want to say property dot find property relative ID, I believe. Oh, right, and I got to say position again. Position, comma. And before we do anything else, I'm also going to say editor GUI dot indent level plus plus. All right. And so that's our ID. Next is our text field. So we're going to say position dot y plus equals position dot height. Editor GUI dot text area is going to be equal to position. And okay, so that means I'm going to have to do the fun stuff, which is property dot find property relative hint dot string value, and then editor styles dot text area. Just going to do that, and then of course I have to do this fun thing where I set it equal to itself, right? Yep, I do. All right. So that's the text area, and then after that, we're going to say, oh, and actually before I forget it, we're going to say position dot height times equals 3f. All right, then we're going to say position dot y plus equals position dot height. Position dot height is equal to editor GUI utility dot single line height. All right, and then now we're going to say editor GUI dot. Do I want to make it a drop down again? Jeez. Let me think. How do I want to do this? I think actually, I think I can just do this. Position dot height, instead of saying it's always going to be equal to single line height, I think I can say is equal to property dot find property relative dot is expanded question mark 1f and then blah blah blah. So we're going to say get criteria count property, and I think we can just do this. Well, actually, I guess what I'll do is I'll just do this. Boop. So it's always going to need to be set to single line height for convenience sake, but then I can say position dot height times equals, there we go, is expanded. If not, we're going to say 1f. Okay. I don't even think I need to do that. I think I can literally just do this. Boop. I think that will work. And then we'll just say editor GUI dot property field position and property dot find property relative right, nope, not capitals, criteria. All right, let's see what that looks like. Dollars to donut, it looks nothing like I think it is going to. That will be a different type. The label is just a line of text to the specific position. Okay. And prepare to see everything transform. Ta-da! Oh my. So, oh, wait. Well, hold on. I might have borked this. There it is. Boop. Oh, right, and I definitely need to have a actual non-blank string here. So we're going to say, let's see here. How many times do I need to use criteria? It's only one there, but I kind of feel like I'm going to dig into it a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and say serialized property criteria is equal to property dot find property relative criteria. Ta-da! And now I can just use this here. All right. So we're going to say string label is equal to criteria dot array size is greater than 0 question mark. If so, we're going to do something specific. Otherwise, we're going to say it'll be in caps empty. All right. Oh, I can't say label. Drop, or I guess I should call it fold out. Label. Okay, let's come up here, paste that in. All right, so if it's that, then I'm trying to think of how to do a for each loop in one line, and I can't think of it, so I don't really want to do that. All right, we're just going to do this. We'll say is equal to empty, and then we'll do a for loop. For int I, what am I doing? Int I is equal to 0, I is less than criteria dot array size, I plus plus. This is also not really going to work. So we're going to say if criteria dot array size is greater than 0, then we're going to do something. I shouldn't do string concatenation. String builder using system.text. So we're going to say string builder fold out text is equal to new string builder. And we're going to say fold out text dot append criteria dot get array element at index I dot find property relative ID dot find property relative name. Okay, that's all we need, and we're going to say if criteria. I'm sorry, no. If I is less than criteria dot array size minus 1, we're going to say fold out text dot append. All right, we'll do single line divide with a space in it. And finally, at the end here, we're going to say fold out label is equal to fold out text dot toString. Okay, there we go. Let's see what that looks like. And I'm taking a drink while that's going on. Darn it. That did not work out well. Well, this did, though. I feel like we need some space between these two. They're like really touching each other. Why are you saying editor dot serialized property? What did I do? What did I do? Let's see. We want hint criteria. See, find property relative ID and then peek. So it should be called ID. So if I peek that, and I peek collection item, it should just be called name, but doesn't seem like it's going to let me have that, which is super weird. I wonder if it's fighting. I wonder if I say hash, if it'll give me something a little bit more appropriate. I doubt it. Oh. Well, we'll find out. If that turns into a 0, then... What? It's still... That does not seem right. Okay, that's interesting. Huh. Okay. I don't know why it's called editor. That's serialized property. That's so weird. Oh, I know why. Duh. Name. Dot string value. I was being stupid. I always forget. Well, not always, but it's very easy for me to forget that I have to do the whole dot string value when you're working with serialized properties. And there it is. All right. So that is our criteria and our hints as well. So that's interesting. I kind of just I really want a buffer here. Like I don't like the fields touching. That drives me nuts. So, do I really want to? Well, no, that's probably fine. Okay. Oops. So let's do a couple of things. For one, we're going to say, wow, this is going to suck, isn't it? Okay, we're going to say, okay, we're going to say that plus, no, not plus equals, and then we're going to say fold out text dot append criteria dot get array element at index I dot find property relative value dot bool value. Okay, I think that's what we want. So now it should say none equals false. I probably should have, I guess, a default hint as well. So none equals false. So let's go ahead and bump this up to 2. And we're going to say, I guess we can't really do that. I have to re-import my IDs first. But so now it'll actually tell us, without us having to open up the criteria and navigate all the way down, we can see what our name is and what our variables being looked at are. So that'll help when we have a mountain of variables that we have to look at, because it's always going to be in pairs of 2 or just 1. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and create text request. I'm guessing I have these in the old ones. Yep, data ID right there. So I'm going to have a new data ID called progression. That is going to take a JSON blob. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's not JSON. It is a CSV. All right, so we're going to hit refresh. All right, so those are all of our possible IDs. Let's go to our sewers. Then we're going to come down here to collection manager. We're going to add in data ID collection. All right, come up here and just out of fun, we're going to make these values be what we expect them to be. Although eventually we're going to just run it off of this JSON, which I guess I can actually just pull in now because we can populate all that stuff. So let's do that after I test this real quick. So the first thing we have is going to be wrong room entered. Second one is going to be wizard escaped. There we go. Oh, I guess actually we can make that 1. Boop. So if throne room entered equals false, let's duplicate this so you can see what everything's going to look like sort of at the end here. True, and then wizard escaped equal to false. So that's what we're looking at for our labels. They're getting pretty long though. I debated using colors, but I feel like this is fine. All right, so let's go ahead and download our level hints here. And this is pretty much all we need it to be. And I think we're pretty much good. Do I not? I don't think I want this first row here anymore. Let's delete that. Instead, I'm going to opt to have a default hint that I set. So I'll just have where are you hint collection. We're just going to have public hint data default hint. What's new hint data? We'll just do that. And the tooltip for that. Oh, I guess it's probably going to draw itself, isn't it? So I can just leave that be. So we should see a little default hint thing pop up here, except it's actually going to say empty, I'm guessing. Well, not so much guessing, but I'm going to feel foolish if it doesn't. And shazam! Haha! So empty will just be default, basically. That's interesting. I have an extra one? Huh. Okay. Maybe I need to come over here to hint collection. No, hint ID draw. There we go. I think I need this to be 5. There we go. So that should close that gap. I think it's because I just overestimated by 1 the amount of fields that I need. And kapow! It's going to just collapse all at once. Ta-da! And then if I open these guys up, do they all look correct? Yes, they do. All right. Let's go ahead and close those things. All right. And the hint is, I guess, just going to be by default capital T. There doesn't seem to be anything interesting here. Ta-da! Simple as that. So now we can focus more on these things. Okay, so we're going to download our level hints here. So let's go ahead and go to export sheet data, open this up. Let's see here. We're going to go to, we will export just this sheet would probably be fine. I guess I'm going to go ahead and rename this. So from castle to hints. Hello, Scorpio. There you go. Okay, so do I need to do anything special for this? I probably don't need planes anymore. Yeah, I'm not really doing anything over here. Oh, yeah. I remember this stuff. Okay. So in the past, the hint stuff, like I said, last week, the hint stuff was tied up with environment descriptions, kind of. And these were things that would show up when you entered a zone. I think I actually still have that support. I just don't use it right now. In any case, I guess I'll just leave that there for now. So I'm going to change this to current sheet only. We will replace existing files. Let's see, do I care about anything else? Let's do export cell arrays, not really needed, but I will export sheet arrays. And that's probably fine. I'm going to visualize that real quick so we can check it. So this is what our hint JSON is going to look like. Seems right to me. So, okay. Let's go ahead and close this. We're going to make sure that everything's in the correct thing. Okay, good. And then we will export. So we're going to download that. Okay, we're going to show that in folder. Pull this stuff. Grab that. Same thing that we did with our progression. I probably should actually just go ahead and create a folder called data here. And that's going to be our scriptable objects and then the text files. That way I don't get them lost amongst the scripts. Okay. So we're going to come up here to hint collection. We're going to plug in level hints. And now we need to actually parse all that stuff out. So let's go ahead and we're going to close this. We don't really need it for anything. Oh, nope, we need hint collection editor. I lied. Do we need hint criteria drawer? No, and I don't think we need hint data drawer. Okay. We are going to need to do some JSON stuff real quick. So again, let's take a look at our level hints. So this is the stuff we're going to be piping in, basically. So let's go ahead and I don't remember how I was doing this for our level descriptions. So let's go ahead and say level manager. Let's come up here. Materials, update hints. Here we are. Peak definition, show hint, criteria, find. Okay, I think I know. Okay, okay. So I just generated new hint information from each row, and then I kind of rolled them into one. That makes sense. Okay, so we're gonna have a. Let's see. Oh, that's the collection. Dang it! That's not what I want. I want the data and the criteria. All right. So for our criteria, we're gonna say public hint criteria JSON. Oops. Object JSON. I know that won't work for now because I need to come up here and say using sleepyowl.common. All right, and then we're going to say ID is equal to JSON dot get string value. We're just going to pass in something for now. Oh, right. Hold on. Collection manager dot get. Is it get collection? Yeah, I guess it is. Hold on. Let's come up over here. Peak definition. Because I can never remember it. Dot find. There we go. That's what I want. Dot find data ID. And then we're going to pass in the string that we want. There we go. And we're just going to say, let's see, what is it? It is criteria ID. Criteria ID, and then value is equal to JSON.getBool value at criteria value. I believe that's correct. Yep. All right. So that's pretty simple. We don't have to worry about anything else really. Hint data, we're going to do something similar. We're going to say public hint data, and it's going to pass in nothing for now because I keep forgetting to put sleepy owl at the top here. Oops. Using sleepyowl.common. Okay. So this is going to take a JSON object, JSON, and then we're going to say ID is equal to JSON dot get int value. Hint ID is, I believe, what it was called. Hint ID. Let's take a look at that. Yep, hint ID. And hint is just going to be equal to hint. So we're going to say hint is equal to JSON dot get string value. Hint. And then, not quite done yet, JSON array. I can't really do that, can I? Oh, that's super awkward. So we're going to have to just say criteria is equal to new list criteria, and then criteria dot add new hint criteria JSON. Yeah. Oh, I guess I could actually just do that, couldn't I? Boop. There we go. I think that will do pretty much everything I want. And then we're going to come up here to hint collections. Let's see here. A lot of context menu, so public void update hints. Let's see here. I'm going to kind of copy this. Let's go ahead and paste that in. Let's go ahead and also have a public void clear hints function, and that's just going to say hints dot clear. Simple as that. So we'll call clear hints at the top here. I'm going to come up here. Say using system. No, not system. I'm sorry. Sleepyowl.common. All right. So now we're going to change this from hint info to hint JSON dot. Oh. All right. We'll rename this to something else. Hints JSON or dang it. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna have to do a bunch of fun stuff. Okay. Let's see here. So we're gonna parse hint JSON.text, then .get array, and the array we are getting is hints. So we're just gonna say hints. Simple as that. All right, that'll give us our JSON array, and then for each one of those, we're going to get a hint data. Okay. Let's see here. I suppose we can use .link. Do I want to do? Yeah, I'll just do a for each or a for loop here. So we're going to say is equal to null, and then for int j equals 0, j is less than hints.count, j plus plus. If hint.id is equal to hints of j dot id. We're going to break out, and we will say old hint is equal to hints of I. Simple as that. Right. Non-nullable types. Right. Dang it. I despise non-nullable types. I don't know why I didn't think of this when I was making them structs. I mean, I could make them not structs, but let's just go ahead and do this, I guess. So we're going to say public hint data. Let's see. We're going to take an int ID, and then we're going to say this dot ID is equal to ID. Hint is equal to nothing, and then criteria is equal to new list criteria. Simple as that. We're going to go ahead and say is equal to new hint data -1, and then we will just say if old hint dot ID is greater than -1. Simple as that. I don't, for hashes and things like that, I don't typically use anything below 0, so I think this is fine. Let's come back here. Blah, blah, blah. Old hint dot criteria dot add hint dot criteria 0. Yep, that's all fine. Okay, I think that's all we need. So we're going to come down here. We're going to say context menu, refresh. I guess update hints. Update hints. Okay. I guess I'll also move this up here and make it also a context item. Context item, not context. Context menu. Clear hints. Okay. So now, if we go back to our hint collection, we should, I think, be able to actually populate all of this based off of a quick refresh function. Well, welcome back, Scorpio. Hopefully band practice was not too grueling. All right, so let's go ahead and let's clear hints first. Okay, everything looks fine. And now let's update. Okay, we got 2 things in, and then we hit a problem. What did we hit a problem with? Oh, is this stuff still being... Okay, good. Let us see. Refresh is generic? What are you talking about? Oh, okay, I know what that is. That's stupid, but I know what it is. Let's see here. Hint collection 31. Hint collection 31. 31. Ah, dang it, I did it again. J. Hate it when I type in I instead of J. It was better than it could have been. Well, that's always a victory. Everyone could always fall on top of each other. Or worse, a tuba player could have fallen on top of you. Or, I guess, a quad player. That was never fun, getting chased around by percussion. Alright, let's try that out again. So we're going to update, and boom! We got all 8 hints. Alright. Let's see. That seems to be everything that I expected. So, again, the system that we're going to use here is we're basically going until one of our things evaluates to true, and if it doesn't, we're going to return the first one. So, yes, that's a good question. So, I'm sorry, the way we're doing it, we're actually going to go until we evaluate to false, and then if it does, we'll return the first one. That might mean that it's actually impossible for me to have this default hint, but I'll keep it around just in case I come up with a way to use it. Alright, Jelmega, thanks for stopping by. Good luck on the UI stuff. Hopefully you'll be able to get the fonts behaving properly. So today on the stream, Scorpio, we are doing the hint system. And it's been not super great. The first, I want to say 45 minutes, I was kind of lamenting the fact that I couldn't think of how to do it. And then I kind of think I figured out how to do it. So we've been setting things up to actually get hints to function properly. So I think we're actually at a point now where we can implement the system now that we have all of the data being parsed in, and it should be retrieved correctly. So I just need to hook into it. So let's go to, where are you? Scenes. Other, we're going to go to splash fade. And I'm going to add a hint master, I guess is what I'll call it. And it's just going to be a singleton underneath my client. And it will essentially just have a reference to our hints, and it'll know what to do with them. All right. So let's go ahead and come up here. We're going to say create C# script hint master. Yeah, I think today is going to be a pretty long stream, actually. Because, I mean, it's already 9 o'clock, which usually would be when I'm kind of meh. But I want to get the hint stuff done today, because I have a lot of other things that I need to do tomorrow and Thursday. And I really should have a stable build by tomorrow night, so that's probably not going to happen. But I will try. All right, so let's reload that, and now my hint master is somewhere stupid. There it is. See, somewhere stupid. Text quest. It actually is a mono behavior. Do I need anything else? I probably need to say. No, actually, I think that's fine. So we're going to say private static hint master instance. Private static hint master instance. Blah blah blah. Get. Very end, we're going to say return instance. All right, then we're going to say if instance is equal to null, we will say instance is equal to global.get hint master. All right, and I don't actually remember if hint master can be, or if that can be null. It can. Okay. Wow, that's not super great. I probably need to cache that. Ugh. Well, there's some garbage that I can clean up. Let me. Should I fix this on the stream? No, I probably shouldn't. Instead, actually, no, I am. It's gonna take me like 2 seconds to do this. So, go to definition here. So currently what it's doing is it's just doing get component whenever I do this, but instead I am going to cache that stuff. So we're gonna say using not sleepy owl system.collections.generic or whatever is generic. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a dictionary of types and objects. Yes. So let's see here. We're going to say private dictionary type, I guess, or system.type, comma, and I suppose it should be, it's going to be mono behavior for now, isn't it? So mono behavior, and this is going to be instances equals new dictionary, blah, blah, blah. All right, so now when we type in get, what we're going to do is we're going to say if instance, I can probably make that a static dictionary, can't I? Yeah, I'll make it a local instance one. So we're going to say if instances.contains key type of t. All right, then we're going to do something else. All right, so let's see here. We're going to say return instances of type of t as t. Okay. Otherwise, we are going to say t target instance is equal to that. Then we're going to say return target instance. All right. And then we're going to say instance dot instances dot add type of t target instance. Ta-da! Simple as that. So now it's actually going to cache that stuff, and now I don't have to constantly do get component. Hooray! Optimizations. All right. And if that does... Oh, crap. Hold on. Got a definition here. We're going to have to say if target instance does not equal null, then we'll add that. That's probably fine. All right. If instance is equal to null, instance is equal to new. Whatever. I'm not going to worry about that. It's not going to be null, possibly. So that's all I really need for that. Okay, get rid of that. And then we're going to have public hint collection, normal hints, public hint collection, Sierra hints. All right. We'll have tooltip, hints shown in normal difficulty. Tooltips, hints shown in Sierra mode. All right. Do I need anything else? Not. Well, yeah, I do actually. So we're going to say public static string get hint if session dot difficulty is equal to game difficulty dot Sierra, else return Sierra. Oh, right. Instance dot Sierra hints dot get hint. Okay, grab that, paste you in, return normal hints dot get hint. All right, simple as that. We'll do a quick tooltip. Gets a hint. Gets a hint based on the player's current progress. Okay. Boom. Well, so Sierra mode hints don't get too enthusiastic because the hints are also going to be pretty mean. They're probably not. I mean, they will technically be hints in the letter of the word, in the sense that they are hinting at what to do. I can't guarantee they're actually going to be helpful, but they will at the very least be there. All right, so that's all there now. So we're gonna, oops, hit caps lock instead. So we're gonna add a new subobject below global, and it's just gonna have it's just gonna be the hint master. So, boop, boop. Call this hint master. All right, drag in hint master. Let's do hint collection. For now, it's just going to be both, but I do know that this is going to be normal in the future. So I might as well do that now. I probably should call this something else too. It's fine for now. All right. Yeah, that's all fine. All right, let's go ahead and hit apply so that is now going to be on our global prefab. Let's hit save. Okay, we're going to go to our castle level. And So have you figured out the arm, or have you only found out that you can get the arm? Have you? Because I doubt you found out the use. Mostly because you can't find out the use until you can get through the door. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The wax key was one of my most. It was like my proudest sadistic designer moment, just because I know what that wax key will make people do. Combined with its positioning, it is the perfect design trap. It is amazing. It's so much fun. Uh, but no matter what it might seem like, I can guarantee that Sierra mode will always be beatable. It's not going to be one of those like really stupid things where it actually can't be beaten. I'm not that kind of developer. So dang it. Oh wait, you have? Huh. I don't know how did you see the use of the wax key, but not the thing that came before I could have used it. Interesting. Either way, so now that we have this, we just need to sorry this. We just need to actually hook into it. So let's see here. Collection. Right. It's not parser. No, it is parser commands. Right? Not commands or commander. Yes, parser commands. Here we are. Hint. Here we are. So instead of level manager.current level, we're going to say hint master dot get hint. I think that's all we have to do. And then if this works, I will be so happy because it took 2 hours to get all the data in place and then 10 minutes to get the system in place. Oh, you've seen the arm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, no, I did hide the screen because yeah, the first room there is something I don't want to spoil for people. The arm, I'm not too terrible or too mad that I showed that to people, but I've tried very hard to hide the wax keys solution stuff. All right, so now if I type hint into the input field, it should give me a hint back, and I think it will actually be the correct one. Although our system isn't in place yet, so we're gonna have to do that next. So if I say hint, yes. Okay. So let's see here. Now I have to figure out. So hints will work, but right now we're always just going to get this back because we don't really have something setting the other IDs to make sure that we constantly get a correct sequence of events. So probably going to have like a weird hints area. So let's collapse that. So currently I have a hints thing, but that's actually description, and I'm going to have to change that to environmental descriptions. But then I'm going to need to have a drop down for hints, but it wouldn't really work very well now, would it? Yeah. Trying to think of how to show all this stuff. So pretty much everything from zones up is information that's shared between all levels, and then pipe materials and below are things specific to the castle quarters. No, well, it's a designer trap in that it's a key that's right next to a locked door. So the first instinct you have as a person is there's a locked door. I have a key. I should try the key in the door. But then that will break the key, obviously. That's what I mean when I say it's a designer trap of some kind, because it's basically me knowing how you are going to react psychologically and putting things in a specific orientation to make you do that thing. All right, so right. So now I need to figure out how I want to get hints actually being displayed, like in a convenient method here. Because I don't really have a good way of doing that. Um, uh, so let's take a look at our level hints here. So throne room entered is set to true when the wizard cutscene starts. Wizard escaped is set to true when the wizard cutscene ends. Castle bed raised is set to true when you raise the bed in the bedroom. Sewers entered will be set to true when the sewers are entered for the first time. Troll bypassed will be set to true in a number of ways. Sewer door unlocked, obviously set to true when you unlock the door. Valves positioned when you complete the solution to the final puzzle in the demo, that'll be set to true. And then cabin entered is something that comes after the demo, so it doesn't matter. I can't find anything else to do with it, though. I can't combine it with anything, and I can't use it. And it makes me so mad. Yeah, it is. And again, Sierra mode is not meant to be intuitive, and it also expects you to know things that you won't be taught in the demo. Sierra mode will, out of the gate, expect you to know mechanics that are introduced later on. So I can't really tell you what those mechanics are, or it'll spoil it. But don't feel bad about not being able to do it, and obviously please don't get mad at me because I'm being a designer dick there. But if you play through normal mode, then Sierra mode will be a little bit easier in the sense that you know everything that you can do mechanically. So you would be able to, if you get stuck, you could have some idea of what maybe you need to try. So it's the reason that first puzzle is so hard is because it uses mechanics that are not taught in the demo. They're things that will be done or taught later on, pretty much almost immediately after the demo, but not in the demo itself. Okay, so the one shortcoming of the hint system that we have set up is that I basically have to have each level manager have listeners for very specific things that will be listening for flags. So let's see here. Throne room entered. Can't even really think of how I want to do all this stuff. So the throne room entered is caused by a trigger that I have. So if I go to triggers, yes, events, and then the throne, I have a text quest trigger that will, when the player enters it, it will set the data ID throne room triggered to be true. So I guess I could retrofit this. So let me actually kind of curious about this. Dependencies. Really? Select dependencies does not? That is disappointing. I was hoping select dependencies would select the scenes that have it in there, because I'm going to have to convert the data ID here to a array of data IDs. Final references. How many things do I have here? Just music triggers. What about the data ID? Okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, dang it, that makes it a lot more complicated. No, you know what? I bet I can do this. Let's go ahead and do this. We're going to say public data ID, an array of those, additional IDs, data IDs, new data ID 0. All right. So on trigger exited on. Wait, What? Hold on. Oh. Ah, dang it. Gross. Okay. So this, I guess that makes sense. Okay, okay. Ah, dang it. I'm trying to think of how to set this stuff up without me having to do a lot of effort. I honestly don't know if I can. But you should send me some test versions. Really? I didn't know you were that close to me. Huh. All right. Yeah, I actually have analytics on the builds, so I can see things like uh, the words the words that people have used, the sentence that the words were used in, specifically for things like words that aren't known by the parser. And I kind of have heat map data, but I don't really have it set up very well. I really need to refine all that stuff for the next couple of conventions. That way I can get all that data. Just because it would be very nice to see all of, well, I mean, at conventions it's not so much of a problem because I'm watching people play directly and I can just take notes there. But it would be really nice if I had analytics for a lot of things like completion time and things like that. Let's see here. So on trigger entered, exited, and stayed. It's not. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get rid of you, and then do a quick advanced save. Windows. Okay, just making sure. So, yeah. All right. So let me think through the logic of what I need to do here. So throne room entered can listen to the trigger. Wizard escaped has no good way of knowing what it is. Oh, crud. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Then it has to it just has to be tied into the levels. Boo. All right. So let's go to let's see. We can drop hint criteria drawer. We can drop hint. We'll keep hint master up there. Interactive object utility. We can get rid of that. Get rid of global variables. I think we can get rid of hint data and hint criteria too. And let's just go drop that. Let's go to the castle level. All right. And actually, you know what? While we're in here, we're gonna start renaming things, just because. So level manager, we're gonna come up here. So hint info is going to be renamed to environment info. Hints are going to be renamed to environment descriptions. All right. And I'm also going to tooltip everything. Tooltip. Let's see. The JSON used to generate environment descriptions. Then tooltip, let's see, descriptions used in this environment. If I could spell environment. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to put these guys up here. Oh, not summaries. Tooltips. Tooltip. The cameras used when this level is loaded in the main menus. Background. All right. Dang it. I'm so used to doing summaries. Okay. Tooltip. The substance files used in this level. I don't think these hints will actually, these tooltips might not even be useful. I'm probably doing some stupid custom stuff on my, in my level manager editor. Sky color black, level ID. Okay, all this stuff's fine. All right, let's go to level manager editor. Come up here. All right, so we're going to rename this to environment info, right? Environment info. Rename environment descriptions. Okay, paste that in. Paste that in. All right. And okay, so let's go to draw hints, which I will now rename to draw environment descriptions. Okay. Go to definition, draw header. We're going to change that to environment descriptions. I actually think I can do a GUI content. Right? Pretty sure I did that. Yes, I did. I win. Now I can have the tooltip for that. And I'm just going to kind of copy it from that. So, descriptions used in this environment. Not super descriptive, but it'll be fine. Let's see here. Property field. So right, I don't need this anymore. So for the longest time, I was using new GUI contents whenever I would use property field, but that's not actually needed because if you don't specify a GUI content, it's just going to use the default label, which is actually better because then it has things like tooltips. Okay, so environment info is just the text object. Then we're going to begin horizontal, update. Let's go to, I guess, update hints. So let's go ahead and rename that to update environment descriptions. Environment descriptions. All right, clear. Oh, and clear hints should probably also be renamed. Rename to clear environment descriptions. Boom. All right. Let's see. So all that stuff's in there, and we're gonna go to draw hint, which I will obviously rename to draw environment description. Okay. Let's go to definition. Let's rename that to description. Okay. Now, let's see here. I don't think I really need anything else. Oh, I guess I could change that to remove description. Okay. Oh man, I was doing such terrible stuff here. Ah. Alright, all that fun stuff. Let's see here. Draw hint criteria. Do I need anything immediately below that? No? Okay, I'm going to change this to say description. String value. Let's change this. I'm going to leave that in as it is for now. Let's rename that to draw description criteria. Go to definition. Criteria, blah, 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 blah. Mostly I'm just making sure that I don't use the word hint in here. Okay, I think we're good. So that's going to be a pretty significant update. I think it's going to clear out all of that stuff because it's going to not be... Oh, ah, dang it, too late. I should have clicked on that faster. Now I have to look for environment descriptions. Environment descriptions. Castle. There we go. So now we can plop that in there, hit update, and now everything's correct, I believe. Right? Pretty sure. Yes. Okay. Okay. And while we are in there, might as well clean up some other stuff real quick. And draw header. No. Let us see. Is it title value that I want? No. This is weird. Oh, no, I know why. Yeah, it's because the throne room stuff was always kind of weird. So that's going to be the hint stuff. So type ID, switch int value. Here we are. Name plus title value. Yes. Sorry, I'm kind of. Oh, this is the criteria. We don't actually want that. We want all this stuff. I'm trying to think about. I'm trying to remember all of the editor scripting that I've done in the past on this stuff, so it's kind of a lot to keep in my head. Let's see here. Label is the thing I was wondering about. There we go. So we're going to change this to a string builder, which is of course not a thing that I can do right now. So let's come back up here all the way up to the tippity top, and we're going to say using system.text. We're going to move back down here and trim end. No, I don't live in Bloomington anymore. I used to. Does it still say that I do? I don't know if I put where I live here. No, I live in Indy, right? Or I live in Indy now. So I'm in Indianapolis. In any case, so we're gonna do string builder because I was in Bloomington for college, and then when I graduated college, I had no reason to stick around there. So string builder. All right, so now we're gonna do append. Append. I wonder if this will actually help with my performance in the editor. And we can say if I is less than criteria dot array size -1. Label dot append. Boom. There we go. Wait, could I really not do trim? Huh. I thought there was a trim. I guess there's not. Huh. Alright, I mean, that's not super... Oh, that's why we always did it, because I didn't know. Okay, whatever. I don't think I need it anymore anyway, so we can get rid of that. Let's see. Label is equal to new string builder. Or I guess I can say just label dot append. Append. There we go. And then label dot toString. There we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I probably should update the Steam stuff to say that I'm an ND now. I always forget that my Steam profile has basic information about where I exist. So we should see the trailing. Yep, there we go. Boop, boop, boop. Of course, that means I have to collapse everything again. But okay. Uh-oh. I have 2 different chest opens. Oh, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. So I think our hint stuff should, or our environment descriptions should still work. So I will be able to test that. Okay. Look, you can't harp on me for liking Metal Gear Solid, okay? It's a great series, and I really liked Metal Gear Solid 5. Yes, the ending was kind of dumb, but I really liked the gameplay. I love stealth games, especially Metal Gear Solid Stealth. the kind where if you're caught, you can still, hold your ground if you need to, or at least be able to run away. So, Metal Gear Solid 5, gotta say, best gameplay in the series. Not the best story, not even close. That's still 3. But 5 has the best gameplay. I think it might actually have the best stealth gameplay I have ever played. And that's coming from someone who's played Thief and Dishonored and a bunch of other stealth games. I love stealth games. But it's sadly just a genre you don't see anymore. Well, not very much of anyway. Outside of very hardcore stuff, like indie projects that are kind of leaning towards Thief levels of stealth, and Thief stealth is a bit much for me. It's a lot of effort. It's not fun to play Thief. It's enjoyable, but it's not fun. So yeah, well, to be fair, I don't have nearly that much hours in really any other game. I think Rainbow Six Siege is close to that. Back when I was pretty into Rainbow Six Siege. But then after that, it has a steep fall off. I think those two are the only ones that I have over 100 hours on. And maybe Resident Evil 4, I'm guessing, is after that. Oh, I forgot about Warframe. Okay. I did like Warframe for a while too. I fell off of that though. So, I've had my share of time sinks, but nothing MMO levels really. Like I don't have it measured in days. Well, I guess technically that is measured in days, but I don't have it measured in months. A friend of mine he's played WoW for probably I want to say almost a decade now. And he has, I think, time spent on that game measured in months. That's how long he's played it. Oh, New Vegas, yeah, that would probably be another big one. I really do like New Vegas. Yeah, and Team Fortress 2 was from when I was first starting out on Steam. It was one of the only games that I really played with a friend. Anyway, so with that stuff done, now I can actually start doing hints. So now we're done with Level Manager Editor. I can come up to Castle Quarters Manager. And we're going to have specifically some things that we need to do. So we're going to say... Oh, geez, I really need to organize this stuff. I'm not even sure if I'm using all of this. Find all references. I guess I am. Oh yeah, Dark Souls is another good one. Okay, so maybe I do have more games that are close to or a little bit above 100 than I thought. But they're all good games at the very least. They're games that are also kind of long to begin with. I mean, things like Warframe and Rainbow Six are meant to be replayed. They're multiplayer games, and then same with TF2. And New Vegas and Dark Souls are RPGs, so they just take a long time to play through. Let's see here. Throne Trigger, King. Do I do anything with you? I guess so. Okay. Let's see. Secret Curtains, Throne Room Door. Yeah, these are all things that need to happen, aren't they? Throne Triggered ID, Exit, Door Opened ID, Playable Director. Oh yeah, no, that is something that I need. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't get into Antechamber. I mean, I played it for a while, but eventually I just got bored with it. I'm not really a huge fan of surrealism like that. I guess I wouldn't even call it surrealism. That's more like some weird form of abstractionism, which I don't even think is a term. But yeah, I'm not super crazy about that type of game where it's pretty much solely based on where you look. Like that's such a huge factor in its puzzle design, and I really don't like that. Plus, I caused it to crash. which was kind of fun because I think I knew why it crashed. Um, but after it crashed, I was just like, nah, I'm done. That's enough for me. And Stanley Parable's good though. That's yeah, it's a fun little deconstruction on player choice. In any case, so let's see here. Magic color. Are you used anywhere? Yes, you are. Castle Magic Wall. How about you? Okay. Yep, I think all of this is used. Okay. Except for maybe you. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Yep, I know what it all is. So I'm just going to come here down to the bottom and do this then. Actually, no, I'm going to do it at the top because I know that every level is going to have these things, so I might as well put them at the top. So we're going to say public data ID progression. Well, thrown, entered, progress maybe. Ugh, this name is terrible. Progress ID is equal to data ID dot none. So we're gonna need throne, wizard, and that's I think pretty much it. So this is gonna be wizard progress ID, then bed progress ID, I suppose. Let me take a look at these. Yeah, castle bed. So these three are possible in the castle, and these four are possible in these sewers. Okay. That's all we care about then, is these three. So let's look for, let's see, on throne triggered. Door, there we are. So we're going to say session.setBool throne entered progress ID dot name, set that equal to true. And the terribly cursed emerald, or deconstructionism. Yeah, no, and yeah, Stanley Parable is a deconstruction, but I don't. But uh, antechamber is not. I was saying abstractionism, which I don't think is an actual term, but the point of being that everything is so abstract in that because it's meant to be kind of a strange. Again, surreal seems right, but I don't think it's correct to describe antechamber. Because surreal to me is something like a surrealist type painting where things are identifiable as belonging to our world or being in our world but not belonging to it. That's what you kind of get with weird horror movies is surrealism. But then again, I'm not a art historian, so I couldn't properly identify those characteristics. In any case, so that's the throne trigger happening. So that will happen. All right. Wizard progress ID will get set to true on exit opened on magic wall position on cutscene complete. Here we are. Really? That doesn't seem right. Oh, it's because we never hooked up. Well, hooray! So we can kill two birds with one stone, or with one stone. I never actually hooked up our wizard stuff. Let's see here. So data IDs. Here we are. So we're going to say public data ID wizard appears ID equals data ID dot none. Public data ID wizard escapes ID is equal to data ID dot none. All right. So if you like Stanley Parable, try Dr. Mangeskov, the Tiger, and the Terribly Cursed Emerald. Yeah, I haven't heard of any of those actually. Or is that one big title? That seems like one big title, but it also could be three separate games. Let's see here. Dr. L is made by one of the guys from Stanley Parable. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I played Beginner's Guide, which is also by one of the guys who did uh, Stanley Parable, and I could not get into that one. I mean, I played it through to the end, but something about it came off as arrogant, which was I feel kind of the point, but I think that's why I think it's arrogant. I don't know. I hate that type of um, it's almost like fourth wall breaking, which I kind of think is the point. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Um, I feel like when the point of the game is to break the fourth wall, that to me is a failing of some kind because that's boring. Um, Anyone can break the fourth wall, but and even when you try to dress it up as being clever, it's still just breaking the fourth wall, and that's all it's doing. Um, so I've never been a big fan of things like meta commentary through fourth wall breaking. Um, when that's the point, I feel like that's lazy. In any case, on throne room triggered, we set that. Let's see. Which, yes, before I forget, we're also going to set another thing. Session.setBool wizard appears ID dot name is equal to true. All right. Hello, Garrett. Welcome back. How is the snow? It is non-existent. Yeah, we're doing hints today. That's why I did hint on Twitter. And you made me very sad when you pointed out that it could have been snow, and now I can't use that pun. I can't say we're working on cool things and mean snow. Ah, I wasted it. That's such... that hurts me physically. All right. So on throne triggered, on magic wall position. No. We want on cutscene complete. All right. So here we're going to say... let's see. We're going to say session.setBool wizard escapes ID dot name true, then session.setBool wizard progress ID name true, and also I feel like I should, it's fine for now. I'm sure you'll think of another pun for it. You just know I will. All right, cool it. Oh god, this is gonna turn into ice puns. There's a really funny Robot Chicken sketch where all of the ice villains in the DC comic universe come together at the same time, and they're just all making terrible ice puns. It's great. Okay, so we're setting the progress ID and the wizard escapes ID. Those are all being set to true. Do I need one? I need one more. Bed progress ID. And that is going to be... Where are you? Where are you? I know you're around here. Door. Interactive object. Switch. There we are. Secret lever. Find all references. On curtains opened. Oh no. Oh dear. No. Don't tell me. The bed is listening directly to it, isn't it? Crap. Hide magic curtain. Yep. Oh, how wonderful. Great. Okay. So we're going to save this, then I have to go back into the scene to actually do stuff. Oh, and we're going to have to add all of that to our custom inspector stuff, too. Boo. In any case, let's see here. We're going to go to props, I think is what I want. Props. There we go. Side room, bedroom, and bed. No, it's not that. Let me see if I can... Nope, okay. Movement. Ah, here we are. You. Jeez. That is not great. Alright. Let's see here. Let me see if movement module fires any events. It, of course, does not. Oh, wonderful. So I guess that means I need to listen to the switch, don't I? Yep, I do. Okay. Let's see. Castle lever. Direction. Ah, jeez, this is. Ah! Why did I do this to myself? I really should have structured these things better. They're kind of ad hoc, just kind of thrown together. Um, all right. So the problem is that I need to somehow detect that the lever has been pulled, and then I can set that progression ID value to be true. But I don't think I can really do that super easy. So let's see here. I think I'm going to have to actually just listen to castle lever. And after every on success. Ah, that's so gross. All right. Means I have to do another data ID. Ugh. Okay. So let's see here. Exit door opened. We're going to say public data ID lever pulled ID is equal to data ID dot none. All right. And fortunately, we already do have a reference to our switch. Where are you? There we are, secret lever. So I am going to just go ahead and say down in start, we will say if session dot get bool lever pulled ID dot name is false by default. So if that bool is true, I'm sorry, actually we're going to say if it's not true, then we're going to do something, which is going to be switch dot on. Nope. Okay, what did I call it? Did I not call it switch? I called it, no, it is a switch, but I called it something else. Secret lever. Secret lever dot on. Let's see, on. Where are you? Is it check event? I thought it was verbs. Verb success. Plus equals. Yeah, it's going to be that. So let's rename that to on lever. What the? Seriously? On lever pulled. Okay. So we're not going to throw a new exception. Instead, we're going to simply say, grab you. Yes, I know you're going to complain. Let's see. Go up above. Here we are. Oh, by the way, Garrett, completely forgot to ask. How are you doing tonight? Sorry. I'm kind of frazzled because I was worried that I wasn't going to get the hint stuff in there, and I'm really close, and I really want to get it done today. Let's see. So on lever pulled, we're going to say, yeah, so this is going to be fun. If lever pulled, no, that's not going to be it. It's if session dot get bool, lever pulled. Okay. What? Lever? I did call it level pulled ID. Lever pulled ID. Dot name. False. Then we're going to go ahead and say secret lever dot verb success minus equals on lever pulled. Okay, simple as that. And then we're going to say session dot set bool bed progress ID dot name true. Okay. No. It's actually not that. It's bed progress ID that I want there. Doing okay. Messing with terrain shader assets again. Fun. That is. God, I actually started messing with shaders this past weekend or 2 weekends ago, and I've been wanting to do more shader stuff, but it's very difficult to work on shaders when you don't have a specific need, because you don't know what to work on. You don't know what cool thing to try. And I've always been very bad at just saying, well, I need to learn, so I'm just going to do random stuff. I always want to have some practical use that I need at the time. In any case, I think this is all working now, or all hooked up at the very least. So we'll let that compile, and then we're going to go to Castle Quarters. Oh, good. Okay, so it's probably just called Castle Editor. Okay. Fine. Then I'm just going to go all the way up here and find it. Find all references. Boom. There we go. So did you go to school for game design? Yes, kinda. So there was no game program when I attended college. I helped put one together. Although I don't really think that they listened to my suggestions very much. I don't think so anyway, just given the course criteria that they were teaching after I put that list together. But in any case, I went to school for telecommunications, which is where I went to IU, Indiana University, and telecommunications is where the game stuff was located at. And eventually, telecommunications actually now is part of. It got merged with some other schools to become the media school, and now they actually do have a video games program. So there is a game design track there. But I was kind of on the frontier, like the Wild West, figuring out what classes would be good for this stuff. So I took classes in everything in telecommunications, everything from like traditional telecommunications stuff like editing and Adobe Premiere and all of that to make television graphics for like news channels and whatnot, to Flash, to web design, web development, to 3D modeling. We didn't have a texturing class, which kind of sucked because I had to learn all that stuff on my own. Although the adjunct instructor there, guy called Jason, was super awesome. And he and I would often be in the computer labs on Fridays for his office hours, and I would just be in there working away, doing stuff for games. That was super fun. But yeah, so I did game design in school, but I couldn't technically have gone for that because it wasn't a thing. But I did try to put as much video game stuff into my classwork as possible. All right, so now I need to come up with a bunch of serialized properties here. So we're going to say private serialized property. Let's see here. Let's just kind of copy these three. Boop. So these things up. Make these private. Make them M_capital, M_capital. And sorry, gotta adjust my headset. Oh yeah, I meant to ask you, are you still just kind of experimenting with things to work on for the RPG, or are you finalizing a more specific direction that you want to take it in terms of development? Okay, so we have thrown entered. So that's the hints. But now we need these guys. Exit door opened. Let's see. Here we are. So we can put this stuff in there, and I'm actually going to add spaces between these so that I know which ones are new. Then I'll come back and get rid of the spaces. That. Oops. All right. Almost done. I'm going to be so happy when this is completed and obviously functioning fully without any errors whatsoever. Yeah, IU has and to be fair, if you're going anywhere for game development in the Midwest, I guess IU is probably one of the best places to go. They do have the media school program is getting better. I'm just kind of bitter because they took it in a direction that's not quite the way I would have personally taken it. Um, but I can say that if nothing else, IU does have Hoosier Games, which is a student game development group, and that's actually that's what I did when I was there. That's where I got a lot of my video game experience, was doing student projects with Hoosier Games. In fact, Hoosier Games became the de facto video game program at IU. Like, we were doing everything that IU kind of teaches you now. So we were teaching, the senior members would teach younger students how to do, Unreal. We would do workshops in advanced UI practices for Unity, whatever people were interested in. And I was one of the old remnant leaders. Well, not really a leader. I wasn't technically an executive, but I was like the oldest member in terms of how long I was there. So the torch passed from the one of the executive producers to myself to be like the sage of Hoosier Games, and I had to document all of the history and do all that stuff. It was kind of fun. But it's a good student group environment. Still don't have a clear direction. Messing with the art in the meantime. Been playing some survival crafters in the meantime. So yeah, see, I never got into the big survival crafting craze. I hate crafting systems, actually. It's, I don't know, maybe it's like the counter or the contrarian in me. When everyone's doing something, I'm like, nope, no point. Why bother doing that when everyone else is doing it? So I've never been able to really get into survival games. Mostly because the point of survival games isn't to have fun, it's to survive. So it's always a grind. All right, so I gotta do all this stuff. So I'm gonna say m underscore, I don't even remember what I called it. Throne, dang it. Progress ID is equal to this object property. Gotta take up some. All right, I'm gonna copy this. Incidentally, I'm pretty sure this is gonna be one of my longest streams, just because of because I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna be going on for, well, at least until I'm done. I don't know if it's gonna be a full hour. I doubt it'll be probably more than 30 minutes, but it's pretty late. Throne, wizard, bed progress. All right. So that stuff is, I'll still keep a space there. And I'm just going to copy this again. See, throne triggered ID. Paste this in. Copy these down. Pulled. Oh, dang it. Okay. Okay. So now we have the fields set up. I just need to actually draw them. So I'm going to add a new function called draw hint info. Private void draw hint info. Okay, so that's going to be done. Let's see here. Draw hint info. And okay, I'm gonna have to change these. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so I was going to say 1 hint info, and let's see here. Gonna pretty much be a carbon copy of that too. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. And we're just gonna say, come up here, paste you, m wizard progress ID. Come up here, paste you in, m bed ray or bed progress ID. Okay, so that's all the hints. But now I need to come down here to our, where are we actually using these things? Throne triggered ID, find all references. Oh, gross. It's kind of just gonna get lost, isn't it? Yep, it is. Yuck. All right. So we're gonna say editor GUI layout dot property field m wizard appears ID. Not gonna do new GUI thing. Editor GUI layout dot property field m wizard escapes ID, and for sheer laziness, I guess, editor GUI layout. Actually, you know what? No, we won't put that there. We are going to put you wherever I have the switch. Secret lever. Find all references. There we are. All right. So no you, and you're going to say M lever pulled. Ah, dang it, so close. M lever pulled ID. Okay, I think it's all in there now, so I should be able to see everything in the editor. Unless something goes wrong, I'm going for music ed. I'd love to do like a minor in computer tech. Yeah, so yeah, IU is definitely great for music. The Jacob School of Music is phenomenal. They have some amazing techno sorcery going on over there for their recording. They have a pretty cool computer lab that's like a recording lab. There's so much stuff. Yeah, and if you're going for, so depending on what you mean by computer tech at IU, if you mean traditional like systems analyst stuff, so like back end development, then computer science is probably fine. I personally don't like computer science at IU. It is almost exclusively focused on database management and very business facing practices. So it was very boring to someone like me who likes games. So if you're more interested in game development, then I would recommend the media school for a minor. But if you do want to have sort of that more business style sort of computer knowledge, then I would probably say computer science or informatics. Informatics is pretty good for that too, but they're the same school. So, well, actually, no, informatics is with the school library, isn't it? So it's like a weird thing on its own. But in any case, so now we can go to castle and ta-da! Okay. So let's see. We want throne, room. It's not in there. Oh, right. It's not. Hold on. Right. Da, 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 data IDs, progression. Okay. There we go. Throne room entered with spaces. Wizard. Oh, good. It's so big that it has to be scrolled. Wizard escaped. And what did I called it? Bed raised? No, castle bed raised. There we go. Okay. Then we're going to come down here. This is going to be lever pulled, I believe. Yep. And wizard appears is again down here. Wizard appeared. Wizard escapes ID is set to wizard. Wizard vanished. Okay. Hoi. And just to be sure, wizard appears and wizard vanished is equal to true. Yep. Yep. And yep. Okay. So now I think our environment descriptions will all be correct, as should our hint information, at least for the castle. So let's see if that works. All right, moment of truth. I need a drink. I feel like my avatar guy broke. Huh. Because he just keeps talking. Well, great. That's annoying. Alright, let's skip all that stuff. Open. Now I'm really sad. I don't know why it broke. Oh, crap. Whew. Okay. Hint. Okay. Look. Okay, let's go back here. Look. Yes. Okay. And again, look. Torches were with a warm light. Okay. So now let's activate the cutscene. Look. Hint. Oh, no! No! What do you mean? That's not good. Hint should have given me something else. Oh, I bet I know what it is. Yeah. Okay. I think I just did that logic poorly. Let me select that. Let's see here. Don't need hint collection. We want to get hint. Oh, I guess we'll do hint master. No. Hold on. Let's see. If hints.id is valid, index is equal to 1. Okay. Interesting. Huh. Did these not get set? Okay. Something must have gone wrong here. Let's go ahead and check out our IDs, make sure that they're not reset for some reason. No, they're there. Okay. Well, phenomenal. Phenomenal. Just great. Okay. I'm going to, in hint collection, I'm going to put a debug in here. Debug.log. Index, I guess. That's what I want, right? Yeah, okay. So, I mean, obviously it's returning 0, but I wonder why. I'm actually gonna do something real quick. Go to definition. Go to definition. Okay. I'm gonna debug this. Debug. Oh, right. Unity engine isn't being used here. Unity engine debug log. Okay. So I'm going to say id.name plus blah 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 plus session.getBool. Okay. So basically, I'm going to do a step through to see what is false and what is true to make sure that everything is actually updating like it should. And I guess I can check this real quick. So, throne room entered is equal to true. Wizard escaped is equal to false. Then you will get this. But why didn't we get that? Alright, so let's try that again. Alright. Open. Let's see. Hint. Look. Oh, right. I'm interacting with the door. I forgot. Look room. Okay, that's all correct. Alright. Let's. Interesting. The throne room. Hold on. Clear that. Hint. Throne room entered is equal to truth there. Then how did... What? I must have done something stupid. Hint collection is valid. Wait, no. So if it's not valid, we're going to go to definition. And we're going to say... Oh. It's breaking on the very first one. That's why. Duh. Ah, I'm so stupid. Crap. That's not good. Okay. So let me go back to hint collection. I'm gonna say or I is equal to 0. I know that's terrible. But I think we have to have it, otherwise it's always going to break. No. Ah, it's always going to break, isn't it? Ah, dang it. Frick. Okay. Yeah, I didn't code that very well. Okay. My entire approach there is just awful. So I can't really say if it's valid. Unless, nope, that won't work. I guess I can kind of cheat. So let's go to definition. If not, criteria is valid. So I guess criteria is valid. Should return false, or I'm sorry, should return true if the value is the expected value, or true if it's true. That doesn't make sense, does it? Let's go to definition here. All right. Public bool is complete. Get return session.getBool id.name false equal to true. Because I know that these are exclusively true false relationships and they will never be true unless they are true. So unless they've been set to be true, this should work. Has the criteria been set to true? Okay. So we're actually going to go to hint data. Again, we're going to say public bool is complete. Get. Let's see here. It's going to be pretty much the same thing. Is complete. Return false. Right. Have all of this, or all of the criteria had their data ID set to true. Okay, so now if we can go here, if it is valid, or hints of I dot is complete. All right. I think, hey. I'm very disappointed that my Unity guy is broken. Alright. You know what it is? I bet he broke when my audio broke, and I reset it. Interesting. All right. Well, thank you for stopping by, Scorpio. All right. Okay. I think we'll actually be able to test it now. So let's find out. Hint. Okay, good. Still says the King of Seraphton awaits you. Let's run up over there. Open. Yes. I really should have a period or an exclamation point there. It sounds so mundane with a period. A wizard has appeared and is attacking the king with dark magic. Again. Oh, jeez. Okay. So I think look, hint. Okay. Okay. Okay, looking is still going well. Hint. Hint. Okay. Open. Pull. Hint. Yes! Okay. It's working. It's working. Okay. Okay. I'm done. I am just I am dead. Um it's a 3.5 hour stream almost. Oh god. I'm a James Cameron director's cut movie. Okay. That was a terrible joke. All right, announcements. Summarize this real quick because I'm tired. Uh, I am not going to be streaming on Thursday or Saturday this week. Saturday I'm going to be in St. Louis, so I won't be able to stream, obviously, because I'll be away from my computer. And I get the feeling Thursday night I'm going to be kind of antsy, fixing up bugs and just getting some general polish stuff done, making sure that all my hints and all that is hooked up to the sewers because we haven't even done anything in the sewers yet, including environment descriptions. So all that stuff needs to be set up in the sewers. And yeah, so aside from that, yeah, so we'll be back to streaming at our normal time next week. So next Tuesday is when we'll resume streaming. But well, maybe next Thursday. We'll see how bad Pixel Pop drains me. But we will stream at least once next week. So I think that's. I mean, yeah, we're at a really good place to stop for the night. We got hints in there, and oh my goodness, that took way longer than it should have. But at least it seems to be functional, and it seems to actually work. And work pretty well. There are obviously things that I need to do, like the first time you request a hint, there needs to be uh, like a little pop up that says, "I am the hint master. Use me when you or ask me for hints when you are stuck, but don't use me too often. Otherwise, it could be not a fun game." I'm sorry, I'm terrible at coming up with things on the spot, especially when I'm 3.5 hours streaming. Okay, I think that's a good place to stop for the night. So. Yes, I want to thank everyone very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.